Hello, hello, and welcome back to Scholastically Natalie, where we talk about books, writing, reading, D&D, and sometimes other things. Sorry if you can hear some kind of fan in the background. I don't know how much the mic is gonna pick it up. It's just slightly too warm for me to want to shut my air conditioning off, which is so annoying. um, Today I bring you yet another book review. I kind of slammed through quite a few while I was at work, but now I've hit all my poetry collections. I feel like I've said this already, but now I've hit all my poetry collections, and I just have not been vibing with the ones that I started off with. So it's been hard to slog through them. uh, so today I bring you Depression and Other Magic Tricks by Sabrina Benaim. I assume that is how you pronounce her last name. My apologies if it is incorrect. So, back of the blurb. Well, actually, this is not the back of the book blurb. This is the front of the book blurb. That isn't the entire poem, that's the front of the book. So, this was the first thing I could fit. I'll also read you the front of the book blurb. So, it says, "It's a pleasure to meet you, reader. My hope is that this book might be a friend, a reminder, a testament that the first step to connection is communication. Thank you, and hello." And I actually really like that. I did not, however, enjoy the first poem, which you might get when I read it to you. I don't know. It's titled First Date. Hello. When I say hello, I mean thank you. When I say thank you, I mean I adore you. When I say I adore you, I mean I will check your horoscope. I mean when you leave the balloons that you carry in your laughter behind on my ceiling, well, I like them better than flowers. My body is a garden rooted in gratitude. Thank you is the biggest poem I've got inside of me. Oh, me? I'm a campfire cold hearts like to sit around and roast their marshmallows in. When I say campfire, I mean tiny furnace, little light lady. I mean I am not the path of least resistance, but I swear I was struck by lightning. Bang, boom, wow. This one time at Coachella when Jay-Z brought out Beyonce, I mean I am flawless. Procrastinator. My heart is a messy bedroom I always distract myself from cleaning. I digress. When I say Beyonce came out, I mean fireworks went off and I cried. When I say I cried, I mean I taught the clouds how to cry for me. Dig? I wouldn't say I'm sensitive, I would say I'm highly susceptible to feeling a lot, and sometimes there just ain't enough rocks. Forrest Gump. When I say my feelings are a box of chocolates, I mean I like to eat them. I also like to get high enough to look myself in the third eye. When I say I like to get high, I mean sometimes after I shower I thank the towel. Snap, crackle, or pop. Me? Pop. I mean I've got this violent tendency to see a bubble and want to pop it. Which is to say, I have held love, but I popped it and locked it, then dropped it and lost it. I didn't mind. Love made me feel like I knew the answer. But when I raised my hand, I was the only one in the room. What I mean is, have you ever felt the ache of swallowing starlight? That cinnamon heartburn. What I mean is, his name is a play set at the table of my tongue because I learned love like wait for it. If I called the last person you said I love you to, would they tell me they felt it? Can you feel this? I'm allergic to liars. They cause my tongue to swell and sharpen. Bullet, flesh, tongue. What I mean is my kiss tastes like a shotgun to the lips. You'll like it. It'll make you feel brave. My first crush was on Benny the Jet Rodriguez. That boy ran so fast he could fly by foot. If I were an animal, I would be a hummingbird. When I say hummingbird, I mean sometimes my hands forget how to hold, become two teacups in an earthquake. I am a rattle of splintered bones. When I say my body, I mean blunt guts and then some. My instincts are miraculous. I spent an entire year sleeping on a bed of swords and was not cut once. What I mean is my lonely looks a lot like insomnia when you hold it up to the light. What I mean is, if I came to you, lonely as a grocery store parking lot at 5 a.m., blowing smoke rings but pretending they are halos, can you believe in the magic? Not Beauty, not the Beast. I mean Enchanted Castle. My body, Space Jam. My toothy smile has ways to tell anything else than the truth. Flight response. Do you ever sit on the end of your bed and listen to the world spin? I hear that song everywhere. When I say that song, what I mean is time. Time is a holy catastrophe of heirloom clock faces that don't fit my wrists. The only instrument I know how to play is a muscle. I like my body best when I am not worried about how much space it is taking up. I mean dancing. When I say dancing, I mean shimmy and a shake and a womp womp drop. My swagger has moves like it sleeps in a waterbed. I mean my seed sleeps in its shell. I am best prepared for the worst case scenario. The best case scenario scares me. Flight response. My mother tells me I am a bird. When she says I'm a bird, she means the whole world is my cage. In my dreams I can fly, and there is no such thing as a cage, meaning there is no such thing as time. I've been here before. I recognize that moon. I know, there are many moons, and my gratitude eclipses them all. So I say thank you. Thank you when I mean hello. It's a lot for an intro poem, okay? It did not vibe with me. But I do have some parts that I liked, and I didn't highlight them all, but I did mark a few for us to read the poem with. So, we start off with page 6. There are several pieces of writing here that I highlighted because I really like her way with words, but I don't like the format of her poems, if that makes sense. Explaining my depression to my mother. A conversation. Mom, my depression is a shapeshifter. One day it is as small as a butterfly in the palm of a bear. The next, it's the bear. Those days I play dead until the bear leaves me alone. I call the bad days, the dark days. Mom says, try lighting candles. When I see a candle, I see the flesh of a church. The flicker of life sparks a memory younger than noon. I am standing beside her open casket. It is the moment I realize every person I ever come to know will someday die. Besides, Mom, I'm not afraid of the dark. Perhaps that is part of the problem. My mom says, I thought the problem was that you can't get out of bed. I can't. Anxiety holds me hostage inside of my house, inside of my head. Mom says, where did the anxiety come from? Anxiety is the cousin visiting from out of town. Depression felt obligated to bring to the party. Mom, I am the party. Only I am a party I don't want to be at. Mom says, why don't you try going to actual parties? See your friends. Sure, I make plans. I make plans, but I don't want to go. I make plans because I know I should want to go. I know at some point I would have wanted to go. It's just not that much fun having fun when you don't want to have fun. Mom, each night insomnia sweeps me up into its arms, dips me in the kitchen by the small glow of stove light. Insomnia has this romantic way of making the moon feel like perfect company. My mom says, try counting sheep. My mind can only count reasons to stay awake. So I go for walks, Mom, but my stuttering kneecaps clank like silver spoons, held in strong arms with loose wrists. They ring in my ears like clumsy church bells, reminding me I am sleepwalking on an ocean of happiness I cannot baptize myself in. Mom says, happy is a decision. My happy is a high fever that will break. My happy is as hollow as a pinpricked egg. Mom says I am so good at making something out of nothing, and then flat out asks me if I'm afraid of dying. No, I'm afraid of living. Mom, I am lonely. I think I learned it when Dad left. How to turn the anger into lonely, the lonely into busy. When I tell you I've been super busy lately, I mean I've been falling asleep watching SportsCenter on the couch to avoid confronting the empty side of my bed. My depression always drags me back to my bed, until my bones are the forgotten fossils of a skeleton sunken city, my mouth a boneyard of teeth broken from biting down on themselves. The hollow auditorium of my chest swoons with echoes of a heartbeat, but I am a careless tourist here. I will never truly know everywhere I've been. My mom still doesn't understand. Mom, can't you see? Neither do I. And I kind of really loved that poem. Like, explaining depression to people who just don't have it and have not experienced it, it just does not make sense to them. And I am grateful that they do not understand. And then we have our next poem that I highlighted a lot of, which is called Nature versus Nurture on page 12. It has been said that I am just like my father. This might explain why most days I dress up in my mother's clothes. Use her signature shade of scarlet to paint my lips a familiar smile. I do not use her signature trick of turning her heart inside out, the way she showed me, to wear her softness as a bulletproof vest. Armor is for women who have something to lose. In this way, I am not like my mother. The inside of my heart is covered in stucco scales. My father has a crocodile smile, a flawless flash of shiny distraction to keep you from finding the bodies he's left behind. But if you look close enough, the evidence lies in the residue between his teeth. I have been told my trauma should come with a warning of blunt force trauma. It's true, there are nights I wear nothing but a blood-stained smirk to veil my secrets. There are nights my smile is the simple act of baring my teeth. I am just like my father, and if it weren't for my mother, I would not know how to take responsibility for the bite I bear when I wear the crocodile smile. because there are nights I cannot help myself. When the full moon howls, I howl back. I am the daughter of nature versus nurture. Each verse for my father is a love letter to my mother. My mother the sparrow, my mother the nest, my mother the branches, my mother the leaves. My mother the tree who cut and whittled herself to build me a boat offering safe passage. My eyes watch our slow-sailing reflection in the water. In its stillness, it's almost impossible to tell if the tiny yellow lights scattered across its surface are mirrored stars or crocodile eyes. But my basic instincts are well acquainted with the sensation of nature's gaze fixated on me. When my father tells me I am beautiful, I always hope it's because I remind him of my mother. And I also kind of love that with kind of like that sinking feeling that you are how you do not want to be, and trying to frantically change that. And it ties in well because I do believe people can change despite the way they've learned to be and express themselves. And lastly, we have minnows on page 17. I have minnows in my stomach. I swallowed them singing to you underwater. You once told me as a child you seldom remembered to feed your fish. My body is a fishbowl I have caught you watching. You can thank my ballet training for teaching me how to hold my body like a champagne flute in the hand of a debutante. I started drinking again to control my inside tides. I continue drinking to keep the minnows alive. I have minnows in my stomach. At first, I thought they were butterflies, but the butterflies turned out to be your hands making shadows. Remember that night we fell asleep with the candles burning? The school of flickering light that swam across the wall. I imagined I was inside of an aquarium exhibition featuring the fish inside of you. They were beautiful. I have minnows in my stomach. They are hungry. Starving. Is it that you are forgetful or sadistic? I have minnows in my stomach that are going to die soon. I've turned the top 2 chambers of my heart into a mausoleum in anticipation. Engraved each tiny tombstone with my fingernail. I give each fish its own nickname. I had minnows in my stomach. There is a stillness now. A small condolence. Their face-down float was the closest they ever came to being butterflies. It's my 26th birthday. He arrives to my quasi-adult potluck dinner party, holding 3 styrofoam containers of seaweed salad from the sushi spot on the corner. He says, "Little lady, I'm sorry it took me so long to get here. I hope I'm not too late for the party." And those are the 3. Wow, good job. Thank you. Sorry. Apparently, the thing I need to uninstall was very insistent. And I really liked that one too. I enjoyed all 3 of those and the way that she expresses how feelings feel. I like how she writes, but just the way she formats some of these poems. So this is really not my cup of tea. I buy a lot of poetry collections about depression because I am depressed. A surprise. And so I like reading about how other people expressing their feelings that come because of, their imbalance in brain chemistry. But some of the way she writes is just so hurried and frantic, and I didn't really like that. And then towards the end, it comes out of depression into a desperation to be loved and fall in love with someone. And I'm not a very romantic person, so that I don't quite understand that feeling. But for an example, I will read you the one book that, not book, oh my goodness, the one poem, I'm sorry. I just ate, but it seems my brain is still misfiring. That is on page 3. It's called Hurdles/Dreams, and because it's just filled with slashes, I'm not entirely sure what the correct way to read this is. Saying the slashes out loud or not? I'm not going to, because it's between every 3 words or less. So I'm just gonna try to read it with pauses inserted, okay? New earrings, New ring formation, new kiss goodnight. Most weekends, still falling asleep in the middle of the bed. Sometimes I am a little lady who wishes herself a flower that wishes itself a balloon. How I always want to grow. High, get above it. I am not here to look at the dirt beneath anyone's fingernails. Oh, the tricks we use to distract ourselves, how they don't always work. I still dream of you, sometimes. I wake up with a basketball inflated in my chest, sitting atop my rack of ribs, waiting for an invitation to dribble on your court. Of course, at your court, it's patio weather, like, all the time, right? Imagine me, sticky as a popsicle stick, with feelings, all parched hands and clammy tongue, hungry for a kiss. Then, there is the dream that reoccurs, the wicked game where you pretend you are a ghost, and I talk to myself in rooms full of strangers, or the impossible dream where your hand slips and your fingers weave easily into mine, or the one I am inside of, the whale's mouth. I yell out for you to come join me. I'm sorry it's so dark in here, I tell you, but I am not sorry for the darkness, only that it makes you so afraid. Or, worst of all, the dream I cannot seem to wake from. I am jumping days like hurdles, for months and months and months, to get over you. Why do I think it's possible to write the bricks out of a wall? Why am I banging my head against a brick wall? Begging, please, 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 for a different memory. One where the lilac wind did not lick my eyelashes. That way. Where I look at you, and in my head Joanna Newsom does not sing. You are starry, starry, starry. I know. None of it makes sense. I know. Trust me. There is no sleep for this lonely. No birds. This morning. Only the sound of my upstairs neighbors. Making breakfast. At least, they aren't using the blender. At least, their baby girl isn't crying. And neither am I. Anymore. And the words are great. I love them. I just do not like the way she arranges a lot of her poems. Okay, the first one I read you for the intro, that one was just a stream of consciousness, and I don't like those kinds of poems. But the hurdles / dreams, I don't know why all those slash marks are inserted. I don't really like them, but you already know I'm not really a fan of more abstract poetry. I can get abstract, I can get flowery, but not like that, I guess is my best description. I don't get too abstract. I mean, I prefer metaphors, and then nothing else, because my brain just doesn't comprehend the more abstract stuff. So, I don't know. That's my total thought process about the book. I enjoyed some of it. I didn't really like the latter half as much, and then I also didn't like the cluster of words. I've never really liked those types of poems, even when I do read them. I think it's something about poetry and having them all so close together. It seems almost rushed to how I read it. And I don't think I get quite the same impact from them, if that makes sense. Anyways. I hope this was at least mildly to moderately entertaining. Please do remember to be mildly somewhat productive this upcoming week, where I promise you I have not been. No, I did do stuff. I went for a very long walk yesterday with my friend. We went out shopping, and that was good. And then today started prepping for D&D again, which I will talk about on my channel again. I'm sorry it's taking me so long to come to a decision on that. because we started streaming our games, then I was like, I don't know if I want to tie my channel to, like, that channel, and, like, it... Despite the fact that I only have 53 subs, which thank you if you watch, I still get real concerned about tying things to each other in my brain, because I have been constantly warned about social media. Something the youths do not seem to have been warned about, in which case, please, youths, be careful what you post. Not that I'm really that much older than you, but I grew up very paranoid about what I was posting on social media. So lastly, I got dinner prep today. Hopefully I'll actually do it, because I've been putting it off for like a week. And put a sticker on my printer, because I was a good human and exercised this week. Am I doing a rewards-based system? Yes. Am I capable of doing it any other way? No. So with that, I will remind you to do good exercise this week. And if you don't do the exercise, be at least somewhat productive or enhancing your life in some way, even if it's just existing from day to day or taking a shower. With that, I will see you all in the next one. Scholastically Natalie is out.